Okay, well. I'm trying to get to work on the... I don't even know how to start YouTube now. I have no idea. I don't even know. Oh, here we are. Okay. There we go. It worked. We'll just delete that one. I'll tell you what I want, guys. I want all of the siege mode equipment in this game. That's what I fucking want. Badly. We want all the siege mode color. All of them. Okay. Oakley dokley's, it's time again for a bit of gaming. Sorry if you're British. I'm sorry if whatever accent I was trying to replicate there, I'm sorry if that related to you in any way. That was abhorrent. We will now be doing a bit of lay gaming. Oh my god, sorry. Ancient One has awoken. Oh yeah, we are back, Julius. Unfortunately, I have to go manually, like, fuck around with the stream real quick because it's being a pain in the ass, but... that's okay. That is okay. I don't even know how I got this to work, I'm gonna be honest. The machine spirit is a wonderful thing, I know. I know, guys, how do we feel about yesterday them just shadow dropping the patch? Like, real talk. How do we feel about that? Bad? Yeah, it just kind of like came out of nowhere. It kind of came out of nowhere, and I feel like there was not a lot to be done there. Oh, hello, people of chat. What's up, Uchio? What's up, Kyle? What's up, Carter? Kieran? What change would you like to see? How to make changes to siege mode? The hotfix is fast, dude. Guys, I think siege mode is just gonna suck ass forever. I'm gonna be real with you guys. In fact, I think siege mode right now is worse than it was at the launch of siege mode last year. It was definitely less popular this time. Like, Siege Mode was, like, super hyped, but I feel like they kind of lost. They kind of lost their chance at making Siege Mode, like, a big deal in this game. They kind of lost that opportunity. Because what happened is... Alright, we're gonna go burn some fucking heretics here. They lost the plot on Siege Mode. Yeah, so, like, I feel like what happened is they completely fucked themselves by having a poor launch of the initial one. And ever since then, it's never properly lived up to the hype again. So, it's just kind of stuck as, like, this awkward mode. They're trying to, like, make people play. They're trying to gaslight you into playing it. Like, that's what they're doing. They're like, here, guys, we're gonna lower the accolades. Don't you guys want to play Siege Mode? Everyone's like, no. No, we don't want to play that. And I can tell you, just like as a content creator, I can tell when interest, like where the interest is in like a certain mode, and Siege Mode has like negative interest outside of like challenge runs. That's about it. Nobody actually plays Siege Mode. People like to watch Siege Mode. Nobody actually plays the fucking mode because it's garbage. It's garbage to play if you don't have a coordinated team. It is garbage to play if you don't have like, I mean, even now if you have a coordinated team, it can be garbage. Or you see the new loot cosmetics? I did. I'll have to make a video on those when I actually have time. But don't worry, guys. FTG, if you guys haven't heard, word on the street is FTG just makes the same video 15 times. So naturally, you'll see 15 videos of the new cosmetics. Imagine if you love the game and it's all you play, but you've got work and a family to take care of. Well, here at FTG, we can really only imagine when it comes to that, right? Is this the real non-playback FTG? It is. This is the real FTG. Playback FTG got cut off mid-rant about casual gamers. First true regardsman, yep.
Your mission is to use the stored promethium in the refiner. First, proceed to the Cadian outpost and establish their fate.
People ask for a horde mode, siege mode along with expeditions proves that more content is always equal good. It's true. Siege mode is pretty shit. Playback FTG was too unhinged to be left alive. We'll bring him back. Wait, we have the wrong voice. So we have to use the Spaceful's voice. We're gonna play fucking Spaceful too. That's just unfair. They are adjusting the new ordeals. Yeah, guys, they are adjusting the new ordeals. That is happening. Thank you for the Prime, Pater. Hold on, let me announce my return on the Discord. Wait, so the Twitch Drops campaign is live until May 26th? They said this Twitch Drop campaign was live until... Hold on, that doesn't make sense. That's not truth. Alright, how long is this campaign actually? Did they just fuck up their own campaign? When does this one actually end? This one ends on June 11th. Why are they saying it ends on the 26th? This Drops campaign is going for like 2 weeks. 3 weeks almost. They're straight up spreading misinformation in their own Discord. Okay. I had the drops when I was sleeping. Kind of stupid of me knowing I'm gonna watch FTG patch day 2 anyways. Hey man. Hey, oh shit, we need the Space Wolf voice. Hey FTG, what's up, Patrick? We're actually alive now. Also, we're on YouTube. But everyone on YouTube should come over to Twitch. Oh my god, we're dying. This is it, chat. Say something only the real FTG would know. Somebody called me a big mouth nerd once. Only I remember that. Yeah, June 11th is when this actually ends. It's not May 26th. What the fuck are they talking about? They also posted like the wrong... Hold on, dude, their interns need to be fired. Okay, they posted the wrong thing.
Your mission is to use the stored Promethium in the refinery to destroy the enemy swarm. The Cadians were tasked with providing assistance, but we have since lost contact. First, proceed to the Cadian outpost and establish their fate. You must then infiltrate the refinery and complete demolition's deployment. Trigger detonation only when the main swarm has entered the blast zone. Captain Akaram will coordinate our efforts over Vox. Deployed and ready.
Drop for the drop gods. It's true.
The enemy may be burrowed in this mud.
How long will you be streaming for? Dude, we're probably gonna be streaming 24/7 the entirety of the drops campaign. And then you won't see me for 2 months. I will have to reset the stream at like 48 hours, but because it'll auto shut off, but I'll be around. Remember when FTG was a VTuber? I remember being stuck playing with 2 VTubers who were incredibly bad, though one of them was substantially worse than the other one, and despite that other one only having half the other one's playtime. Weird how that works. You tried the throw plasma yet? Yeah, I have an entire build guide on it. God, Argent End is so peak. Wait, which VTubers? I had a collab around like 4 days ago, which feels like a week ago now. But 4 days ago, I played with Nuabel and Froggy. And oh my god. Miwa didn't know what hip fire in a game was, and Froggy is just bad. I'm sorry if you heard me say that, Froggy. I know you lurk my stream a lot, but Vivo is still better than Froggy somehow. It was quite. Well, Vivo actually plays the Elden Ring, and this game isn't that different from that. It's just the aiming portion. Are there days where you just force yourself to play SM2? Dude, I'm a machine. You don't understand. Force myself to play SM2, dude. I don't really view things like forcing myself to do something. You just do things. They're just things you have to do. And for me, for whatever godforsaken reason, let's play this game. That direct damage CG recovery here is actually quite good. What's your opinions on capes and shit? I mean, they're cool. Or you mean like the controversy? I mean, the game needs an endgame grind, but I don't know if that was the one. I don't know if having just like 2 unlocks per class is it, but this is also half an update, you gotta remember. It's almost like playing Space Marine 2 is his job. How dare you insinuate their ulterior motives to anything I do? Mods, ban that guy. SGG, here are my 3 variant builds so I can set up all classes, 25 hours this patch. They're on the way. I have a build guy. I have variant builds for every siege mode build. But not much has changed in siege mode. And like, the good stuff has been good for like 6 months at this point. Outside, like, Argent Edge was like the only major change last patch, I swear to God. I'll have a bunch of guides coming out for Siege as well. We already have all the build guides, so we'll put out some other ones too. Also some Power Sword stuff, because Power Sword got buffed this patch. Did you do much Siege yesterday? Yeah, I played it. I played enough to know what's good in it. Or at least what's good for like 99% of the player base. Mod, send the Space Wolves to their home. Yeah, pretty much. I'll say this patch, the Siege mode performance is awful. Absolutely atrocious. I would say Space Marine 2 is a very simple game, so it's pretty easy to tell what's going to be good in the patch. Especially if you played it relentlessly. It's like, what's the best build on Vanguard this patch? Probably the same build he's used for the past, like, 2 patches since November of last year. Downside balance distribution. So balance distribution on the Pyre Blaster. This will up your direct damage. Does not affect your burn damage, as it didn't last patch. But getting more direct damage while you put down Auspex, that is still good. Like, you will have a pretty high DPS off of that. Also, things like Relentless Pursuit will up that even further, so for that reason, we still use it. Though, Plasma Boost is better with the Plasma Pistol, obviously. What do you think of the Pyroblaster tank gimmick? I think the Pyroblaster canister is actually really good. Burn in Space Marine 2, guys. It's just very strong. And they only nerfed it against bosses, but it's still ridiculously potent against bosses. It doesn't even matter. How's Siege mode this past FTG? Eh. Okay. Not a very good game mode in general. I just don't think it is. I think the player numbers on it reflect that. We'll see if it gets better this patch, but the roguelike modifiers are kind of nice, though. That's fun. Riveting. Okay. I'm actually as good as killed there. One Spore Mine is all it takes, huh? One unfortunate Spore Mining. Hey, Jonathan is Prime. What chest piece are you using for your tactical? This is like a standard one, as a matter of fact. So, because we're this low HP, by the way, guys, the next box we find is like guaranteed to be a sim, like 100% almost. Because the way that Space Marine 2 works is the lower HP you get in this game, the more likely you are to find a stim. If you don't have a stim already, you're like practically guaranteed. If you have no armor either, sometimes it will give you an armor boost instead, but if you have like one armor remaining like we do right now, and we run over to a box, you're pretty much guaranteed. Yeah, this is just a basic tactical chest piece. There was gonna walk up here. See? There it is. And then after you get that sim, there's like a 1 minute and 30-second cooldown where you have a significantly lower chance of finding a sim at all. But that will reset after a while. So sometimes it's better to not hold on to 2 stims. Or not hold on to a stim if you're like really low HP, unless you feel comfortable doing that, because you're less likely to get another one after. Yeah, but I think that's 300 bits.
Sweep complete. There's nothing here. I have the codes, brothers. Captain, demolition codes are secure. Proceed to the Prometheum refinery and complete the demolition preparations.
How many absolute missions did you do for the first cape on tactical? 30. But they're lowering that requirement, they said. My guess is this game's enemy count doesn't scale per player. It actually does. So what it does, it lowers the total threat amount. So like you're less likely to find certain spawns, but we're also playing on hard strats right now, coordinated calls and tsunami. So our waves are way bigger anyways. Kind of like circumvents that. Like this is not an absolute op, this is a hard strat. I've played this game for just over 2 months now. It's all I can say is for the Emperor. For the Emperor indeed, brother. Very fun game. Only gonna get better.
This is where we sow the enemy's defeat, brothers.
The Fire Blaster is still the king of horde control. There we go, purging again. They also up the Pyroblaster effects this patch, which is nice. Nice to see. FTG, if they said anything about the ordeal about finishing solo absolute missions, no bots, it's bugged. But that's a positive for the player base, I think, for most people, so. Alright, sim again. Nice. Now, even though they nerfed the boss damage on this thing, it's still quite strong against bosses. All you have to do is put down Auspex Scan to boost up your burn damage and your dot. And even on absolute and hard strats, you'll still cook them. You'll cook over like half their HP.
Talassa, the Cadians are running out of time. How close are you to the Promethean facility?
Is the Victor's Honor Guard champion a real leak? I mean, yes.
You are making good
And
time.
it's in the game, like where we have multiple parts of the armor. It might be drip fed to us, but we already have 3 of the parts. We have the helmet, we have the gauntlets now, and we have 1 gauntlet, and we also have the cape.
Use the codes to prime the bomb and finish its deployment into the crude Promethean well. Cautiously, if you know what is good for you.
FTG, what do you think of the new map? The new map is pretty gas. It is pretty fucking gas, not gonna lie. I'm old. I don't know the slang of pretty gas. Holy shit, this guy's... You don't know gas, man? That's already an old saying, brother. Saying things are gas, that's already dating myself, dude. But, like, now we're just finding out you're encrypted. Or actually, that's it. You're archaic. This guy played Alpha Magic. That means it's good. Drive secure stockpiles for using for. Oh my god, chill out.
Generators are with the machine code's name. Crane sequencing initialized.
How do you do, fellow kids? I thought I misheard you. He said pretty ass. No. I would not say it was pretty ass. Okay, we shall edit our speech in the future to avoid all future confusion.
Operator requested.
There I go, purging again. Ow. Get away from me.
Generator 3, brothers. Generator 3 is discharging regular current.
Is this still the best attack weapon? Yeah, I mean, definitely is. It's only nerfed against one enemy type, and guess what? It still cooks that shit. Also, they only nerfed the weapon itself. They didn't nerf your Auspex. Like, your Auspex is what actually murders bosses in this game. Fire Blaster is just, like, disproportionately strong with it. But even then... all you have to do to nuke a boss in this game is just... so you get a 50% bonus buff on the damage taken on enemies, and that applies to your burn as well. And because of that, if you parry a boss while you are burning them, and you put an Auspex down, you are just stacking damage buffs. And you just shit on them. They don't have much of a chance. I'm gonna keep the cracks, I think. Actually, man, I'll take them.
Let us keep that swarm from ever reaching generator.
Is Inferno the fastest mission to farm caves? No.
Generator 4 is suffering mechanistic palpitations. Provide service before components
That's decap.
are harmed. Y-axis aligned. Margin of error 0.0 nanometers. Blessed be
Those of you guys
the
talked about a
science
crash on
behind
console.
precision.
Saber did come out, or Focus came out and said that they are aware there's a crash going on. They're trying to fix it. So, stand by, brothers.
To resume operation. Back on track.
Are the Twitch drops still bugged? No. So if anybody who is watching is struggling to get Twitch drops, the Pros account link is broken on Twitch, but if you go to the actual Pros website and go from there and log in for your account details, it'll work. It's just that the link they have through Twitch is kind of broken. There should be a pinned comment for that too. quite cinematic.
There is an observation platform overlooking the Kryptometium fields. It will make a good vantage for your ambush.
So many fucking warriors in front of me. Perish. I will say I do want all of the new siege skins, so getting like all the sectors cleared for all the guns, that'll be pretty fun. Some of the new siege skins actually look pretty good for the colors, so I'm looking forward to that. Like the yellow Pyre Blaster and stuff. Billions must grind, it's true. FTG excited for the Deathwatch, Space Hulk, Rogue Trader, or Dark Heresy stuff? Maybe Dawn of War 4. I definitely want the Deathwatch Demon Hunters thing. That looks cool as fuck. Space Hulk, pretty hyped. I would say mainly Dark Heresy though is what I want to play. I don't even know if I'll have time to like properly engage with it though. Like I'll probably have time for like a playthrough, but Space Marine 2 is just like too much, dude. There's too much here. People say this is like a simple game with no content all the time, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about, because like I always feel like I'm behind on everything in this game. A Neurothrope. So they actually lowered the total HP via Neurothrope this patch. So he's quite cookable, as I will soon demonstrate. Or do this. Alright, you guys actually gotta go first. They'll both remember that. Alright, we're just gonna go over here so we can just line by line cook them. Ow. That was a little bit risky business for me to try to do that though. Getting a Biovore spawn in the middle of this is not optimal. Biovores don't usually ever spawn during actual boss fights. You have to get them as an extremis spawn before. At least that was like last patch. This patch, they might have actually added them to the pool. So we'll see. There it is. Yeah, such a nerf damage. Such a damage nerf, really. I haven't tried this out with Acuity yet, because Acuity did previously buff up trigger off this perk. Or off this weapon, excuse me. I perish. Right, a wave on a bunch of bajillion guys in front of me. Awesome. Very rude. Should have done that. I should not try to plant that there. That put me in animation. When you drop a bomb, you can't do anything. Very tragic, chat. Very tragic. I know. Very, very tragic. I'm gonna go use bathroom real quick. That's unfortunate. Just do it on. We don't have to do it on a hard strat, I guess. We could just do it on absolute. Like, I mean, I don't know why we're putting ourselves through such a meat grinder for that for no fucking reason. But it is fun. We could talk about this build first. Pretty peak. When is patch 14? It's been taking so long. I know, dude. Crazy, I'm on. Okay. The patch 14 waiting room, true. Real and true, chat. Okay, so we're gonna talk about a Pyroblaster build here. Let me get actual water though. Now my voice is still a little cooked from yesterday. I'm not gonna. That hour long. You seen the Death Watch and Lamenter's cosmetic leaks? Yes. Yes, I have. Quite cool, I must say. Pretty hyped for that. Okay. Let us go talk about this build. Got my voice. My voice. We're so weak, chat. But we'll try our best. We will try our best, as we have done many times before and will surely do again. That's all we can really do, right? Dispensing out the truth. You stream until patch 14, FTG? I'll be streaming until June 11th, probably, on and off. Am I gonna play Aliens Fireteam Elite 2? Probably not. There'll be Siege today? Yeah, probably. I'll probably just call up Zambit, ask if they want to play. But if you want Siege builds, I already have all the best Siege builds here in a giant compilation on the channel. So if you want that, I'll put that in the description. That should cover everything you would need to know about really any general build setup for Siege mode on every class. There's a little bit of audio dipping. It is unfortunate, but if you're curious about Siege mode, this is probably pretty good. So if anybody needs a Siege mode guide, this is it. And then we'll do some other build guides around there. Wait, have you been streaming for 27 hours? Yeah, buddy. But not entirely. Not purely. My hero. I try, dude. Opinion on the new sidearm? It's okay. It's an okay weapon. Okay. We will get through the build guides at all costs, chat. At all costs. We haven't even begun to peak. Okay. Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about a Pyre Blaster tactical build for Space Marine 2 patch 13. Now, the Pyre Blaster is still one of the strongest weapons on the tactical and really in the entire game in this patch. They did nerf the boss damage of the burn effect by like 20% this patch on this thing, but that being said, I got you here, fuck, we'll go again. Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about a Pyre Blaster tactical build for Space Marine 2 patch 13. Now, the Pyre Blaster is still one of the strongest horde clear and boss killing weapons in the entire game. They may have nerfed the burn damage in patch 13 by like 20% against Terminus, but that being said, this is still a top tier option in Space Marine 2. Like, the burn damage was already so strong that even a 20% nerf to that, it is noticeable. It's just not so bad that you really have to like worry about your overall setup. So Pyre Blaster is still a top tier option for sure. If you're worried about being like shit now, don't worry about that at all. It's still a great option, god tier weapon, and today we're building around that for a bit. So first up, the variant I take here is the venting speed version, because you really don't have to worry about like ammunition on a tactical, because you do have the perk here, Emperor's Vengeance, just give you back like infinite ammo effectively, and because of that you have the luxury of just taking the venting speed and firing for as long as you want. And for the perk tree here, I do take the perk Improve Fast Venting first, weapons cool 20% faster, then I move here to the perk Eternal Flame, burning time increases by 25%, then I grab the perk here Potent Flame, burning damage increases by 15%, because even with that nerf, burn damage against hordes of Majoris, Extremis, and even bosses is still top tier, so you still want to build around your burn on this build. Next perk here is Flame of Ascension, burning 5 enemies restores 1 armor segment. The cooldown is 30 seconds. Armor Restore on just setting enemies on fire pretty much is incredibly easy to pull off in Space Marine 2. This is one of the best armor restoration effects in the entire game, especially since the tactical usually doesn't have a lot of armor restoration in the first place, so getting this on your gun for such an easy trigger is really nice to have. Next perk here is Potent Flame. Burning damage increases by 15% again, and then we move down here into the perk Flash Burn. Enemies at a distance less than 10 meters take 20% more damage. Now, the reason I take this over like the top tree, this is a good option because your direct damage is pretty strong here without this perk, because this one will reduce your direct damage by 50%, increase your burning damage. The burning damage is already very strong on the Pyroblaster in general, so you don't really have to worry about, like, you know, losing a little bit, and the direct damage here is still quite strong. Next perk here is Increased Capacity. Moving here into the perk Flame of Purification. Burning enemies take 20% more melee damage. This will apply a debuff to the enemies you hit that will affect your teammates and not just yourself, so really good overall. Now, for the secondary, I do take the Retribution's Bequest. This is a heroic heavy bolt pistol, and the reason I take this is because I am taking the perk over here, Balanced Distribution, which gives your primary weapon 15% more damage, but your secondary weapon deals 15% less damage. Now, usually losing that 15% on your secondary sucks, but in the case of the heroic heavy bolt pistol, the heroic perk effect here still one-shots reinforcement calling enemies, and because of that, you're still getting the full perk effect despite losing that 15% damage here, so a really nice option. And for the most part, I do prefer this over, say, like the plasma pistol, at least for hard strats and siege. Or actually, hold on, I had to test something. I just realized I had to test Acuity before I might have to restart this. FTG, do you think the new grenade is good? Yeah, new grade's great. New grenade is great. Absolutely goated. Alright, try the Acuity perk. Does it actually up our damage? First, let's test it without that. Only available during single permit. Oh. Thank you for the bits. Did they not nerf this on the AQ? That's pretty funny if they didn't. First time catching you live. Love the channel and the coverage. Thanks, man. There will be plenty more.
I smell Xenos.
So we're at. How's the DPS on this without that? Here for the bits, Jax. Okay. Thank you, Guardsman. No problem. All right, let's test this out with Acuity now. So Acuity, Skill Supplier, Resilience, Fortitude, Battle Simulator. Does it still trigger? Unfortunately, loadouts don't work like that at the moment, which is like kind of shitty. What are you gonna do? Hey, FTG Curious, any tips for absolute true solo? I mean, I would say learn enemy attack patterns first of all. Just I mean, the more you play it, but like number one is managing your ammo economy and also just managing your pickups. Oh yeah, that's way faster. Acuity nukes, guys. Your DPS is way better on this.
This is our killing.
Now, they changed the headshot damage in this game, so your burn damage will actually probably fuck up a Neurothrope now, because the Neurothropes take a lot of headshot damage at the moment. Look at that. Look at that damage. You still pretty much 100 to 0 them in a single Auspex, like... That's so bad. People actually think that's nerfed. Like, I mean, it is nerfed, but like, that's all you have to do to just shit on those things. They can do nothing. Okay, so that's what we actually want on this build here. Ugh. Hey guys, first regards in here, I'll be talking about a Pyre Blaster tactical build for Space Marine 2 patch 13. And now, the Pyre Blaster is still one of the strongest builds in the entire game. I do still think this is the overall best build for the tactical class in this patch as well. And even though they nerfed the boss damage on this weapon by 20% for the burn on Terminus, it is still a very potent effect on the boss enemies in the game. You will still nuke bosses. It is a very overpowered weapon in a lot of cases, and still one of the strongest options in Space Marine 2 period, so we're building around that today. So first up, I take the venting speed version here, mainly because the tactical does not have to care like at all about ammo economy when it comes to the Emperor's Vengeance perk. This effectively gives you infinite ammo on your Pyre Blaster, and because of that, you have the luxury of taking the venting speed and firing for longer, so pretty good option here. And also, we are building around direct damage and burn on this build, so having a longer venting speed is pretty nice to give us like a longer time on just our direct damage burn. Now for the perk tree here, I do take the perk Improved Fast Venting first, weapons cool 20% faster. Here it is. Now for the perk tree here, I do take the perk Improved Fast Venting first, weapons cool 20% faster, moving here into the perk Eternal Flame. Burning time increases by 25%. Even with that burn nerf, it is still worth taking burn perks because burn is just that strong as an effect, and that nerf only affected the bosses, so things like Majoris, Extremis, and Hormigons and stuff like that, they will still get purged very easily by burn in this game. Next perk here is Potent Flame, burning damage increases by 15%, then I move here into the perk Flame of Ascension. Burning 5 enemies restores 1 armor segment, the cooldown is 30 seconds. Getting 1 armor back for just lighting enemies on fire is hilariously effective in this game. 1 armor restoration like this is super strong on tactical because any amount of armor remaining will reduce all incoming melee damage to 0 even from bosses. I know I talk about that all the time, but because the tactical is so squishy, having this armor restoration built into your gun, this makes you super tanky, so a really good option, or maybe not like super tanky, but it makes you far tankier than you would be otherwise. It's pretty much just like a free perk. Next perk here is Potent Flame, burning damage increases by 15% again, and then we move down here into the perk Flash Burn. Enemies at a distance of less than 10 meters take 20% more damage, so if you stack perks like this on top of Balanced Distribution, on top of stuff like Relentless Pursuit, you will start to just cook bosses at like point blank, and when you put down Auspex down, you'll do even more damage to them on not only your burn effect, but also that direct damage, so you'll cook them pretty quickly, even with that nerfed burn, so a really strong option here, and Flash Burn's a pretty good perk. Next perk here is Increased Capacity, and the final perk is Flame Purification. Burning enemies take 20% more melee damage. This will apply a debuff to the enemy that affects not just your melee damage, but also your teammates, so pretty good for stuff like an Assault that is flying in to do free Nova damage to a Hellbrute and stuff like that, so a really powerful perk, and overall, I do prefer these 2 bottom ones over the top tree here, because even though the perk here, Resilient Flame, gives you a 75% reduction in your charging time, which just means that you don't actually have any startup on the Pyre Blasters having like a burn effect go out. On like the hard strats and operations, I don't think that matters too much, and for the most part, you're just better off having Flame Purification. And also the perk up here, Pure Flame, burning damage increases by 15%, direct damage decreases by 50%. The direct damage on this gun is actually pretty good, so losing 50% damage on that does kind of suck, so I do just prefer this bottom option for that reason. Now, for our secondary option, I do take the Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol, Retribution's Request. This has the heroic perk effect that is called No Help is Coming. Shooting enemy through lead stream status stops from calling for reinforcements, and headshots will kill in one shot. Now, the reason I like this pistol on this build over, say, the Plasma, and I will just save the caveat here that the Plasma pistol is still very strong, rate of fire, heroic Plasma. If you want to build this build with the Plasma Boost perk, you can definitely do that. That is still a god tier build in the game. This is just another variant of like what I think is the overall best tactical build in Space Marine 2. So just want to make sure that like people are aware of that. Now, as far as this weapon goes, the reason I take this on this build in particular is because with the perk here, Balance Distribution, you will be losing 15% damage on your secondary, but because of that heroic perk effect that is allowing you to one-shot reinforcement calling enemies, in a lot of cases, you'll just get free one-shots from this perk, and this perk will like have full capacity no matter what, even with that reduction in damage, so you really do not care too much about the actual loss and like the base damage of this weapon. Now, for the perk tree setup on this, I do build it this way. I go Divine Might first, into the perk here, Perpetual Penetration, Increased Capacity, Extended Magazine, the perk here, Death Strike, which is after killing a Majoris or higher enemy melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds, because this is just a free damage buff for you, and all you have to do to trigger this perk is to just melee execute an enemy. If you have your weapon equipped, it will trigger. If you swap off your weapon for any reason, you will lose the effects. Just keep that in mind. Next perk here is Great Might. Up here into the perk Discipline, when you have low ammo, you deal 25% more damage. And then I grab the perk here, Strong Finish, Headhunter, Gunstrike Reload, and Tactical Precision for 20% more damage on headshots, and non-headshot damage decreasing by 10. Because this perk is still godlike in the game, and even though in patch 13 they buffed up body shot damage, headshot damage is still overall better. So even with that reduction in our base damage, we pick that perk up. And that's pretty much all there is for the secondary here. Now, for the melee weapon, we do once again take the Heroic Combat Knife, the Argent Edge. The Argent Edge is just that good in Space Marine 2. They also buffed up the perk description, or excuse me, they fixed the perk description to properly represent what this weapon does now. It is called Scathing Retort. The riposte window is shorter, but each perfect parry damages and staggers the enemy. Now, when it says it staggers the enemy, that means that any attack chain that would normally get stopped, or excuse me, would not get stopped on the first 3 attacks, like a Ravener combo, a melee Terminator combo, this will stagger them no matter what. It will stagger Whip Warriors as well. Really, really safe option in the game. This is by far the best fencing weapon because of that, and we're building around that for the best tactical build because it's just the best option. Now, for the for the perk tree, there you go. We'll get to that portion. What's the best build for Vanguard? We're gonna do them all today. Don't worry about it. We'll get through them all. Alright, where's my perk tree option here? All right, that's big setup. Perfect. For these 27-hour streams, a normal occurrence, or listen, FTG is known for insane things, okay? But we were on VOD for a bit, but we're back. We had an 18-hour stream. I slept for 4 hours, and then we're back. And then we're back. Past day is a momentous day. It always is. Okay. Now we have our water. Let's do this again. Now, when this weapon says it staggers an enemy on the first parry, that just means that attacks in the game like the Ravener triple hit, the Melee Terminator triple hit, that usually do not let you get staggered. Oh, excuse me. This is actually a hard perk to describe to people who are like brand new to the game. This is a hard perk to describe. First grind guardsman, man. I mean, yeah. I'm just a robot, dude. Always have been. To the irritation of many people, I'm sure. Well, this game's patch days, Helldivers patch days are scary. I mean, this game's pretty peak, guys. I'm not gonna lie, this game's pretty peak. This is a peak game. First to guards bot, it's true. Okay. What do we got here? So when this says it staggers an enemy on the first... Now, when this says it staggers an enemy on each perfect parry, that just means that attacks that would usually not grant you a perfect parry opportunity for a gun strike will give you one on the first parry no matter what. So, for example, a triple Ravener hit, the first hit of that will usually not give you a gun strike opportunity. With this weapon, it will give you one. So, really good for keeping yourself alive and avoiding stun locks. Now, for the perk tree on this, I do go down the top tree predominantly because I just don't think the slow speed of 3+ here is that good for like kinetic energy, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter too much because this weapon is just a parry stick for you, and the actual perk damage here doesn't matter a ton. So first up, I take Armored Strength into the perk here, Sharp Impact. Then we grab Perpetual Strength into the perk Combined Onslaught for more light attack damage. Then I grab the perk Tide of Battle, Shoulder Bash, Reeling Blow, Shadow Stab, and Terminus Slayer. If you want to, you could take Extremis Slayer. It really does not matter too much. I just prefer the Shoulder Bash lunging attack because this one has way better recovery frames, and it's just a better option in general, in my opinion. And that's pretty much all there is for his weapon setup on this build. Now, for the perk tree, we do start off with Balanced Distribution. Your primary weapon deals 15% more damage, but your secondary weapon deals 15% less damage. This perk just buffs up the direct damage of your Pyroblaster, really good for the Pyroblaster on any patch in this game, but especially now because back in patch 12 they buffed this up by 5% to go like a for. This is a really good perk to buff up your damage on the Pyroblaster direct op. This is a really good perk to buff up the direct damage of your Pyroblaster, but this also got buffed in patch 12 from 10% to a positive 15%, but they also made the negative a 15% damage reduction instead of 10% as well. So a little bit more downside there, but still very strong. Now, like I said before, if you want to take Plasma Boost for a Plasma Pistol, you can definitely do that. That is up to you. Next perk here is also a bit of a choice. So first up, I take Relentless Pursuit here. After a gun strike, range damage increases by 25% for 10 seconds. This will buff up the direct damage of your Pyroblaster even more for like better boss nuking, but I will say, if you want to take versatility for plasma, you could do that, but if you're also just trying to like have the easiest time ever, Titan Vigor will give you no knockback on a perfect parry, and that will allow you to just like fire off your Pyroblaster against Whip Warriors who are trying to whack you, because the issue is Whip Warriors and really annoying enemies like Chaos Spawn, they will just stagger you occasionally without this perk, or without a no knockback effect, and because of that, you won't be able to get the full damage potential of your Pyroblaster off sometimes. If you want to take this perk, you definitely can. We're just taking this for damage today. Next perk here is Emperor's Vengeance. Oh my god. We'll say Emperor's Vengeance. Emperor's Vengeance, guys. We're live again? Yeah, we are, brother. Nice job, FTG. Sounding good, thank you. Voice crack guardsman? I don't think we even voice cracking that one. Yesterday we definitely did. Guys, my voice is like, we're gonna get through all the best builds and all the classes. Now, I already did all the builds for Siege Mode yesterday. I'll probably talk about Siege Mode comps as well. I'm gonna be honest, guys, not a ton has changed, like, at all. From, not a whole lot has changed. I mean, the Siege Mode itself is significantly harder, but as far as, like, difficulty, as far as, like, what's good in these modes, not much has changed at all. Or I should say, things have changed in terms of, like, what's actually, like, what you can use. But in terms of, like, what was top before, it's still peak. It's impressive you can do this build guide after only 4 hours of sleep. Well, I mean, I have 5,000 hours on the game. It's pretty easy to just know what everything does at this point. Not a whole lot changes in Space Marine 2 between patches. There's, like, a couple things that change, but, I mean, usually, it's, like, the same build every time. Just how this game. I will say this patch is definitely less popular than last patch was. I'll definitely say that. You don't play Tech Marine much, huh? I mean, I played Tech Marine a ton yesterday. What do you mean? Actually, did I play Tech Marine yesterday? I mean, we played a fuck ton of Tech Marine in the last patch, so I would say yes. Hello there, first time catching the stream. Thanks for all the guides and videos on YouTube. They are really informative. I'm glad I could help out, Reikai. I'm glad I could help out. They buff the Siege XP rewards to match the increased difficulty, but you're not supposed to be playing Siege mode for XP in the first place, so no. They did not. What's new with the Siege mode? I'll make a whole guide on that as well, fear not. There will be guides for everything in the patch. I already have all the Siege mode builds out on the channel if you want to check those out. I'm going to have all the builds for these classes. We'll also have an overview of the best team comps, and then also just what's new in Siege mode. I'll probably make a fully edited guide later, but for now, I was waiting to touch Siege mode again until like I saw the changes, but not a whole lot has changed, to be honest. Like, it's harder now, definitely, and like it functions differently. There's some new objective stuff, but like as far as what's good on the Siege mode, that's how it is. Good stuff. Stuff that was good is really good still. Stuff that was used to be bad. Stuff that used to be bad is more usable. Okay. Next perk here is Emperor's Vengeance. Killing a Majoris or higher enemy restores your Prime Defense ammo by 1 magazine. Cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity. Cooldown is 30 seconds. This just completely solves the ammo economy of the Pyroblaster. You will practically never run out of ammo with this perk, so pretty much always pick it up. The next perk here is the God tier perk, Secure Stockpile. Equipment charge restored by 1 for all team members. Cooldown is 60 seconds. This is just a 60-second Pyroblaster canister, Melt a Bomb, Shock Nade, Crack, you name it. It is a top tier perk. It's one of the best perks for any game mode in Space Marine 2. Hard Strat, Siege, it doesn't matter. 60-second equipment will save games. This is the best team perk on Tactical and probably like a top 2 in the whole game. Next perk here is Vital Data. Standing Extremis or Terminus level enemy restores Auspex scan charge by 50%. This just gives you more Auspexes against the enemies you want them against the most here, which is just Extremis and Terminus. So putting this down, the base cooldown of an Auspex scan is like 90.9 seconds, and because of that, a 50% reduction is saving you a lot of time. So a really good perk effect here. I think it's far superior to things like priority targeting and target lock. Now, while I'm here, the equipment damage bonus here, this will not affect your grenade launcher damage at all. This only counts for equipment slot damage, so just keep that in mind. Next perk here is Precise Calibration. Enemies marked by Auspex scan take an additional 75% damage, but Auspex scan's radius is reduced by 25%. So this is the premier boss new combo in the game. You combine this perk here with Concentrated Fire, you will get a 195% damage bonus on your Auspex, which comes out to be like a 300% damage bonus almost on your Auspex with the base Auspex increase. So really powerful perk combo. And even though you lose the mark here when they leave the scanned area, that really does not matter too much because all the bosses in Space Marine 2, they have points where they'll just sit there or ram a wall or just scream, and those are your opportunities to put this down. Also, your Auspex will last 60% longer here, which means your overall value on an Auspex is up just in duration, not just in a damage buff. So overall, the best perk combo for sure. Next perk here is Radiant Impact. A melee finisher additionally deals significant AoE damage in a 10-meter radius. The cooldown is 90 seconds. This perk is still god tier. It has been the same for ages now. Radiating Impact is just the top tier perk for tactical and infantry. The Signal Jammer sucks. Marked for Death got Power Craft, and this one shots Majoris in a 10-meter radius and will save your life in boss fights, siege mode. It doesn't matter. The top tier perk, pretty much always pick it up. Now, for the prestige perk options, we do take Acuity first. Each consecutive headshot increases headshot damage by 3% up to 15%. The bonus lasts 5 seconds without a headshot. This will trigger on the Pyre Blaster and up your damage for whatever reason. They did not change that at all in this patch. Still worth taking. Just pick up Acuity because it ups your DPS. Next perk here is Skill Supplier, and Reserve increases by 15%. And the final two perks here are Resilience. Medicase stims restore 40% more HP, and Fortitude health increases by 15% because more HP prevents you from getting one shot, and more stim economy is just better for your gameplay in general. And also Spare Power is pretty good, but mainly powerful in Siege mode, and Exigency Charge sucks ass, and Second Look is not super strong with like Concentrated Fire. And that's pretty much all there is for the tactical build here, guys. Tactical is still a top tier class in Space Marine 2, absolutely. He is still a very powerful option with the Pyre Blaster, and this gun still slaps. And I still think it's the overall best option for him on the hard strats and operations, and because of that, we are building around it today, and hopefully I gave you an idea of how to actually use this build. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. If you like content like this, subscribe for more, and take it easy. Bye. Hey, we killed it, guys. Killing it. No, you've done it for like thousands of hours. Pretty easy. That's one build done. Perfect. It was indeed. We do try, chat. We do try quite hard. Something of a try hard. You feel me? Great stream, you're a champ for the 27 hours. I know. It was definitely not that hard. Okay, next build, we're gonna go for the Assault. What do we think is the best build on him? I still think it is either Block Power Axe or Balanced Power Fist. I still think it's the Block Power Fist, so I'll be honest. This is my personal preference. I think the Block Power Fist is still the strongest build in this class. It has not changed a whole lot. The only thing I would say is like Wings of Flame now is better. And Rate of Fire Plasma is still the GOAT. The Heroic Plasma is pretty good, guys. I ain't gonna lie. It's just that the Rate of Fire Plasma is just still Timothy. And this is still the best setup for this class is... Oh, what's that? It's still the best setup? Wow. And with this class, I would still say Argent Edge is probably his best ability, but Omnisci and Axe, guys, this shit does kind of slap. For operations and hard strats, I think Precise Calibrate Precision Enhancement's better in the hard strats and operations than Plasma Enhancement is. This comes out to more damage, and Burn is really powerful, but they also nerfed the burn effect on bosses, and on top of that, this one just shits on enemies. We'll get there when we get there, though, chat. We'll get there when we get there. First things first, people. Let's make sure that we have the actual thing here. Were the better bolt weapons now in patch 13? I mean, it's all the bolt weapons are still, like, all the ones that were good are just better. Alright, guys, let's do the Assault one. Assault's pretty easy. Assault's a pretty easy one. 1 second, guys. Bathroom. Okay. We got. All right, let's talk about the best assault build match. Hey guys, first regardsman here, and I'll be talking about the best assault build for Space Marine 2 patch 13 for hard strats and operations. Now, assault has not really changed at all this patch. His best build is still mostly the same in my opinion, and for the most part, he has no. Oh wait, no, we're gonna go again. We're gonna go again. Hey guys, first regardsman here, and I'll be talking about the best assault build for Space Marine 2 patch 13 for operations and hard stratagems. Now, this patch, the assault really didn't receive like any major changes, and because of that, his best build is still pretty much the same as well. So we're going to be using the Power Fist. Now, when it comes to the assault class, you do have a few options for the melee weapon, but in my personal opinion, I think the block Power Fist is still the best overall, just because this weapon has a ludicrous armor restoration onto your adrenaline surge charges, a ludicrous damage, and also the downside of 1+ speed here just does not matter because you pretty much only use this as a charge attack, and also this weapon saves you a ton of ammunition on the assault because it effectively works as a ranged weapon. Now I will say, if you want to use the balanced version, you can do this. This weapon is also very strong, and the thing about the assault class is that he's actually better with balanced weapons than like pretty much every other class in the game because he can animation cancel out of his own parry animation with the jump pack dash. So anytime you use a jump pack dash in this game, you will cancel out of any animation you are currently doing, and because of that, you don't have to deal with the awkward parry window of a balanced weapon, because if you're ever gonna like miss a parry on this weapon, you just hit your Q button or whatever your class ability is and just dash out of the way, and because of that, weapons like the balanced hammer, weapons like the balanced Power Fist are very strong on him, and even stronger than I would say they are on like the Bulwark and stuff like that. Now, for the perk tree, regardless of which variant you are using, we do build it this way, starting off with the perk Perpetual Strength. Melee damage increases by 5%. Moving here to the perk Heavy Preparation. Heavy attack preparation times reduced by 30%. Applies to the following attacks: Thrust Jab, Back Fist, Hammer Hook, Back Fist 2, and Thrust Jab 2. Really, heavy attacks are all that matters on this weapon, and because of that, you pretty much always want this perk. You never really want to take the perk up here, Swift Recovery. It's just not worth taking on the Power Fist, and this one is far better. Next perk here, Perpetual Strength, again, up here into another Perpetual Strength, excuse me. And then we grab the perk here, Focus Intention. When your health is below 30%, you will take 50% less health damage while preparing heavy attacks. This will actually make you very tanky on the charge attack, because the main playstyle of the Power Fist is that you effectively trade with enemy attacks and get your HP back off the execute. So you charge your Thrust Jab, you will one-shot them off your Thrust Jab, and whatever HP you lost, you will get back off the execute immediately. So this allows you to survive that initial charge, and then you get your HP back, so definitely pick this up. Next perk here is Tide of Battle. Power wave forward distance increases from 4 to 8 meters. This perk description is still incorrect. This actually turns your Power Fist from 10 to 20 meters on the power wave, and that means your weapon can punch enemies from 20 meters away, which turns your weapon into a ranged weapon. So definitely pick this up, one of the best perks in the whole tree, and you want this on like any setup, even like the heroic one. Next perk here is Strength of Will for a 20% range damage reduction while performing a heavy attack. Then we pick up Following Blow into the perk here combo, and the final perk Majora's Slayer for 10% more damage against Majora's, because this is nice for some breakpoints. That's pretty much all there is for the Power Fist. Now, I do want to mention a couple other options here, since I know some people have questions about that, like, do I have to use a Power Fist? Is that really the best build? I do think it's the overall best, but some top tier options do include things like the Block Power Axe or the Balanced Power Axe. These are both very strong, and I would set them up this way because building for full damage on a block Power Axe is just a super strong option on the Assault class. And Power Wave also got buffed this patch, which is the little wave attack you do after a power backstep to hit more enemies finally, so it's better than ever. And I would say I would set up this way for the block and balance version, and the fencing one, you can even go up into things like the top tree for Power Strike. I'm not going to like a full build guide for this, I'll make one of those later, but for now, just know this is a top tier choice. And as far as the balance balanced Thunderhammer or block Thunderhammer are concerned, I would set them up like this on the Assault class, because fast preparation is really good for Aftershock, and this way we can pick up all the damaging perks, our Seismic Chain, which is really good for hard stratagems and operations, and pick up Aftershock Improved and Majora's Slayer. So something like this is very strong, and also if you want to take Offense Initiated, you can pick up the perk down here after Aftershock. I will make full build guides for the Thunderhammer as well, but for now, just be aware, balance and block, they're very strong options as well, and Power Fist is the overall best. There's dead air at the start of my Heroic Plasma Pistol build. We'll fix that. We'll fix that in post. Sometimes it happens where I forget. I usually get rid of them before it happens, but what do you do? There's like, dude, it's like 2 seconds of dead air. Who gives a fuck? It's literally like, it is 2 seconds of dead air. Who gives a fuck? I do. I give a fuck. Actually, no, I don't. I don't care at all. 2 seconds of dead air, dude. If you can't wait 2 seconds for dead air in a video, you cannot handle my channel. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back and talk about the balanced power act. I'm gonna talk this again. We're talking about it again. These are both very strong options currently. The way I would set both of them up, these are both very strong options currently. The way I would set them up is by building the perk tree like this, starting off with Perpetual Strength into the perk Coup de Grace, Perpetual Strength again up here into Perpetual Strength. Then we pick up Counterattack, Riposte into the perk Hard Target, Tactical Retreat for Power Backstep dealing 25% more damage, and then I grab the Power Wave for even more Power Backstep Wave damaging more. And oh my god, maybe I won't. Yeah. These are both very powerful options, and the way I would set up the block and balance version is with the perk tree setup like this, starting off with Perpetual Strength first, moving here into the perk Coup de Grace. The last strike of a light combo deals 25% more damage, and then we grab Perpetual Strength and Perpetual Strength again, moving here into the perk Counterattack. The first light attack within 5 seconds after a perfect parry or perfect block deals 25% more damage, and then we grab the perk Riposte. Overhead strike damage after performing a power backstep is doubled. This is amazing on the new heroic variant, on the balanced version, and the block version, because this double damage is just super damn strong in the game currently. And the next perk here is Hard Target, moving here into the perk Tactical Retreat for 25% more damage on power backstep. Then we pick up the perk Power Wave to damage more enemies with our power backstep, and the final perk is Cleaver for a 10% buff against Majora's and higher, because this is one of the best melee buff perks in the whole game. That's how I would set up the power acts. I'll probably like a full guide on this later, but for now, just know like these are the two best options in my opinion. Now for the Thunderhammer here, I would say the balanced and block version are once again the best version for this, because fencing has kind of fallen off in this game for a bit now outside of the Argent Edge. And for the perk tree, I would just set it up like this overall. You know, when it comes to hard strats and operations, the perk here, Seismic Chain and Shattering Impact, these go off a lot more because there are just fewer enemies in siege mode, and the balanced version especially takes full advantage of the double ground slam. He pretty much just like combo guys endlessly, so really good for him. If you want to skip over the perk here, Offense Initiated, for the perk down here after Aftershock, you can definitely do that. This is just how I'd set up the Thunderhammer, and that's pretty much all there is for the melee selection. Now for the secondary weapon, I still think the best secondary in the game is the Rate of Fire Plasma Pistol. This one still has the best CHP recovery, the best stagger, and the best overall damage on a lot of builds. I will say the only place this kind of struggles is against like Zoanthropes and Neurothropes, because They just don't have a headshot multiplier for you to actually use the plasma pistol, because plasma pistol does no damage on the headshot at all. But that being said, they did buff up some of the common shot damage and other plasma weapons, and these weapons do feel a lot better. Now, as far as the plasma collection goes, I would just go all the way down the top tree as usual for things like perpetual velocity and efficient charge, because one of the other fuck, we're just gonna talk about this again. We're gonna talk about the secondaries again. We got the melee portion done. We'll get the secondaries done in a second. That's rate of fire plasma pistol still the best. Just saying. Also, let me make sure the perk tree on this is actually set up properly for this class. I think I might need a slightly higher multiplayer tweak to get back to where it was. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, the heroic sniper. Heroic sniper is still the best build for that class, I think. In my opinion, it is still the best build for that class. How's your mom, FCG? Great, red light. I've been red light. Been a minute, brother. My mother is great. Thanks for asking. Also, somebody sent me a 20 yesterday. I didn't even see that. Oh my god, I feel like I'm a terrible human being. Okay, well. We can fix this, chat. We can fix this. Bomb Sponge, thank you for the 10 pounds. Thank you very much, brother. How are you, FTD? Pretty good. Yeah, it's been busy over here, brother. 20 wasn't me. I don't do a food stand. No, I was just checking. That's so bad. I don't know, I had my alerts on. Don't do food stands, it's crazy. You know, I had to do my taxes as your red leg, and I had to go through all the things, all the donos you sent, and I didn't even see the messages you sent me initially for those. But yeah, some of those were diabolical, dude. Some of those were pretty diabolical. Can't lie, Chief. Why doesn't it ever give blessings, only atonement? Because you have to go into the actual menu to pick them up. I'll show that. We'll do some siege later and I'll show that. Because I know a lot of you have a question about that. Alright, this way. Okay. Okay. Sorry about this, chat. I just got completely confused on what I was doing here. As I often am. I'm a deeply confused person, really. Hold on, don't quote that. Flip that. Let's be a clips disabled. Good luck, dude. Hold on, hold on. Clip that, he says. Okay. Alright, here we go. Finally. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Here we go. I still think the best secondary in the game is the rate of fire plasma pistol overall for the assault class. This has top tier contested health recovery, top tier damage, great stagger for both chaos and tyranids. The only place this gun kind of suffers is ammo economy and damage against zoanthropes and neurothropes. You don't actually have a headshot multiplier on plasma weapons in this game, and because of that, the zoanthropes especially are pretty damn irritating, but you do have a power fist usually on this build, and that will allow you to just one-shot them, or like damn near one-shot them out of the sky with a proper power wave anyways, so not too much of a downside on the assault build here, which is why it's the best. Now, for the perk tree here, we do build all ammo economy first with plasma collection over here into the perk rapid cooling, and then we go down the same tree with like perpetual velocity for faster charge rate, efficient charge for better ammunition use on our charge shots, and divine might for more damage, because ammunition is the name of the game on this gun, and usually you're using this one to maintain your contested health because that's what it's really strong for. And like if you're in a really shitty scenario where like you lose all of your HP for a second, being able to charge up one shot and get all of your health back, that is incredibly potent as an effect, which is why it's the overall best. Now, for the bolt pistol, you could take the heroic heavy bolt pistol or the heavy bolt pistol ammo variant. These are also quite strong on this class. It's like the second best option overall for him over the other versions, including the new bolt carbine. And I would set up the perk tree this way. But like that's pretty much all there is for the secondary on the assault class. Now, for your perk tree, I would take overcharge first. Damage from held and charge attack melee damage increases by 25%. This is a 25% multiplicative melee damage buff to your heaviest hitting attacks on the Power Fist, Thunder Hammer, and Power Axe, so you pretty much use it on all of them. It is an incredibly potent perk effect, and I pretty much pick this up all the time. And the next perk here is Consecutive Execution. Killing 7 enemies, rapid succession for scrim charge by 1, the cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, in this column, you have a lot of good options. Now, you could take Defense Mechanism. This one is safer overall for that slower CHP fade, and Auxiliary Arsenal does help out your secondary weapon damage. When it comes to like pure utility, Consecutive Execution is just the best because more equipment means more Melt-A-Bombs, that means more Pyroblast canisters, and being able to use those over and over, that will save your life, so a really strong option here. Next perk here is Knowledge of the Enemy. Melee damage increases by 15% against Majoris and Extremis enemies. This is a pretty self-explanatory perk. It's just a flat damage increase against enemies you want to kill all the time. So a 15% melee damage buff here against Majoris and Extremis. I picked this up because it just helps me out in Space Marine 2 whenever I'm playing the game. Now, alternatively, you could take Perseverance for a 25% health damage reduction while performing a charge attack. This will function during your Power Fist, Thrust Jab, your Aftershock, and stuff like that, and that does make you substantially tankier. It's just Knowledge of the Enemy is better for those breakpoints, and Active Attrition doesn't do a ton for you on this build, but there are some other ones I will be going into in the future that will help out with this perk. Next perk here is Strategic Strikes. All team members deal 20% more melee damage against Extremis and Terminus level enemies. This is still the best perk for this build on the Assault. Like, really, the Assault is a melee powerhouse in Space Marine 2, and more melee damage like this is just incredible for him, especially on a Power Fist. Next perk here is Furious Strikes. Hitting an enemy with an attack after a jump pack dash for his jump pack's ability charged by 1. The cooldown is 10 seconds. Now, this will allow you to go jump pack positive with the perk over here, Commitment, because basically what happens is this gives you a free jump pack after a perfect dodge with a jump pack dash, but because you get that free jump pack, you can then trigger this perk's effect and get another free jump pack, so you're effectively up another jump pack, which is a super powerful perk combo, and one of the reasons is like and one of the reasons this is the best perk combo in the game for Assault currently. Next perk here is Wings of Flame. A jump pack dash. It damages enemies on trajectory and always works as a perfect dodge when dodging an attack. All this does is it means that the entirety of your jump pack dash, as long as you enter the perfect dodge window of an enemy during that time period, you will get a perfect dodge, trigger things like Commitment, and also just trigger free damage regardless. So really powerful perk option. You can pretty much trivialize bosses like the Carnifex all on your own with just this perk, and also this perk will damage enemies, while perks in our Prestige perk tree like Hammer of Wrath will do free damage reduction for us as well. So a really good synergy there. Next perk here is Aerial Grace. After a perfect time dodge using a jump pack dash, you will deal 30% more damage for 10 seconds. A 30% damage increase to your melee and ranged weapons here is really nice because you will be using your jump pack dodge all the time the better you get with an Assault class, and because of that, this buff will trigger quite often. Though I will say, if you want an easier perk to activate, you can take the perk here, Pride and Duty. After a finisher, ground pound deals 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This just triggers on like any execute in the game. It could be a Hormigaunt, could be a Zangor that's like lunging at you. Doesn't matter. A 25% buff to your ground pound is established, and also a 10-second uptime is a very long uptime for like any perk effect like this. And I just take this one because I'm more comfortable with the jump pack dodges. Next perk here is Commitment. A perfect time dodge using a jump pack dash for his jump pack's ability charged by 1. This perk is incredible now. The jump pack dash will animation cancel anything you were doing, like I mentioned before. So having the opportunity to get free jump packs from this perk, that's just the best option. I mean, the other ones here, like Takeoff and Amp Ammunition, they're not god-awful. This one's just best in spot. Now, for the Prestige perk options, I do take Unyielding Oath first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable for 3 seconds. This perk will make you invulnerable the moment you hit your ground pound buttons. Like the moment you start charging an attack for like any period of time, you are now effectively invulnerable to enemy attacks. Very powerful to keep you alive, and one of the best perks in the whole game. Though Duelist is also quite strong for perfect block, because unfortunately this one is bugged to not work with like fencing and balance currently. Keep that in mind. The final perks I take here are Fortitude and Scramble Targeting, because an HP increase, or excuse me, I take Fortitude here. You to go. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. $100 games for classes. Do I have viewers at all today? Probably not today. Maybe tomorrow. How to get the timing for the jetpack dodge right? I mean, it's the exact same as the perfect dodge. It's actually, it's the exact same as a normal perfect dodge. Just hit your jump pack button instead. All right, let's go put in the prestige perk trees here. This is made like 4 to 5 years from now. Hey FTG, how are you? Pretty good. Need a tax guy? Maybe I do. Just be Jeff. Also, you Psycho. Thank you for the 100 red leg. Thank you very much, brother. Fucking insane support from this guy. You been playing this game anymore, red leg? I gotta ask. I do have to ask. Sorry to still have my alert. Get to the perk port. Then we gotta go to Bolt. Then we gotta play them all. Hey FTG, what's the best class for solo absolute Bulwark? My shit go through? It certainly did, brother, but thank you very much. When was the last time you played Space Marine 2 Red Leg? I gotta ask. Must have been a minute by now. I'm catching through the Prime. Oh, I heard a rumor that FTG is an absolute Giga Chad. That rumor may be false. That rumor may be false, Chief. Who are your top 3 chapters, Brother Guardsman? Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves. Not necessarily in that order. Actually, yeah, probably in that order. Not really too much travel and drivers runs my PC now, like 3 months ago. I got you, Redling. Yeah, maybe there'll probably be an anniversary patch. I think that'll bring a lot of players back. I don't think this patch was the patch to like bring all the players back, because I think Siege Mode, nobody gives a shit about Siege Mode in this game. I feel like all the interest in Siege Mode died the moment it came out. Even the initial Siege Mode was like not that popular compared to like patch 10 and even the Tech Marine. I want to care about Siege Mode. Some of the later waves feel so tedious. I mean, they are tedious. They are just, it's just a tedious game mode. And it's not very fun with randoms either, which is what most people play with. Anyways, let me finish this video here. Okay. Now for our Prestige perk selection, I do take Unyielding Oath first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable to oh my god. Now for our Prestige perk selection, I do take Unyielding Oath first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable to damage for 3 seconds. Now all you have to do to trigger this perk is just hold down your ground pound for like a split second here, and that will immediately trigger the invulnerability. This gives you a ton of utility against missile can terminators, allows you to fly through things like minigun volley fire or like devourer beams and stuff like that. Really useful to keep you alive, though I will say if you want to use Duelist for perfect block, this does make it easier to like block with your power fist on the block variant, and the perfect parry for fencing and balance is currently bugged on this perk, at least on the heavy class. I'm not sure if it is on the assault, but either way there are some reports of that, so just keep that in mind. Final perks to take here are Fortitude for health increase of 15%, and the final perk is Hammer of Wrath. After using your jump pack, you take 30% less range damage and don't lose control of heavy hits and cannot be knocked back for 15 seconds. This is a god tier perk effect. A 30% range damage reduction for just using your jump pack at all is incredible. Like, that's just free damage reduction and no knockback for 15 seconds. That is an eternity in this game, and this perk has completely power crept adrenaline boost up here. And that's pretty much all there is for the best assault setup, guys. And, you know, I have to say, the assault class is really a top-tier class in all game modes currently. This guy bodies operations, he bodies siege mode, he bodies hard strats. You really cannot go wrong on this class like Wings of Flame or Zealous Blow, and hopefully this guide helped you. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye. Okay. You already over the tech brain build? No, we're going through all of them right now. We did for the siege mode. If you're curious about the siege mode build, I already have a guide for all of those. Like, the builds I put there, the suggestions I took you there, that will get you to 25 easy. Not too bad at all. Or at least, you know, with a coordinated team, of course, but... Okay, I don't think my PC can handle Wave 25. Bro, me neither at this point. I played yesterday with, like, Indy and Zambit. Oh my god, dude. It is so bad. I even talked to Hayes about it. He's like, yep, performance is just awful. It is fucking horrific. It is so trash currently. Absolutely trash. It's pretty bad, guys. I'm not gonna lie. You were starting crazy like 13 to 15. Yeah, me too, dude. It was awful. Absolutely awful. You're not alone, brother. It's pretty bad currently. Okie dokies. 1 second. Where do you get all of these? Where do you runs on? Oh, we will now do the Vanguard class next. I know, many of you guys love the Vanguard. Check mine. You guys fucking love the Vanguard for some reason. So let's go do Vanguard class here. Let's put on the head taker helmet because we can do that now because we have a cool helmet now. We're no longer stuck with the furry helmet, guys. We have the better one. We spared no expense. Okay. Okay. Okie dokies. Surely I can just one. This one's actually super easy. Just read off because not much has changed here. Though I would say I have the block power axe or the balance one. These are both pretty good. Like there are quite a few options here. You can take the block power. I still think block power is probably the best on this guy. But if you want to go for like a one-shot combo, they have not changed his shit quite yet. What's the easiest option for new players, though? I'll be this. I still think the power axe is the best. I'll explain why. Hey guys, first regards from here, I'll be talking about the best Vanguard build for Space Marine 2 patch 13. Now, the Vanguard class was supposed to be getting some buffs this patch, but they have postponed those to like patch 14. Actually, is that even true? I don't want to put out misinformation. I know he is getting buffs. I just don't know if they were actually postponed from this patch. I don't want to say that in case the devs see that. They're like, what the fuck did he... We didn't do that. Have you slept, FTG? Yeah, we slept like 4 hours. But can you put the Iron Halo on Bulwark in this patch? Yes. Yes, you can. Ugh. Hey guys, first regards from here, I'll be talking about the best Vanguard patch. Hey guys, first regards from here, I'll be talking about the best build for Vanguard, Space Marine 2 patch 13. Now, the Vanguard is getting some buffs in the future to his like grapnel targeting and stuff like that, but for now, his builds have remained mostly the same, so we'll be going over those today and just showing you the best options on the Vanguard class. So first up, we have the Melter Rifle. Now, the Melter Rifle is still, in my opinion, the overall best option on the Vanguard. Other great options include stuff like the Headshot Multiplier version on the Oculus, or the Automatic Carbine variant built like this. They're all pretty good on him, or even the Heroic Instigator is quite strong, but the reason I prefer the Melter Rifle is that number one, this one has great stagger, great healing, and great armor regen, on top of the fact that it also solves the horrific ammo economy of this class with perks like Decisive Reload. Performing a finisher on a Majoris or higher enemy with this weapon restores ammo by 1. This will trigger on any finisher as long as your Melter Rifle is equipped, so really easy to pull off. So as long as you do that, make sure to swap to your Melta during any finisher on a Majoris or higher, and you will get 1 ammunition back. That is super valuable and actually comes out to way more than you'd expect. Now, the next perk here is Rapid Health. When your health's below 30%, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores health by 10%. This is a very powerful perk that gets you above those like one-shot breakpoints at low HP, and also very easy to pull off on a melter rifle because it's a flippin' melter rifle. So next thing here is Trick Shot, killing 5 enemies with one shot restores 1 armor segment. The cooldown is 30 seconds. Getting armor back for one-shotting 5 guys on a melter rifle for hard strats and operations is very easy to do because cultists will die in one shot, Hormigons die in one shot, Zangors that don't have shields will die in one shot, and also stuff like Spore Mines, so really easy to trigger this on a 30-second cooldown. Next perk here is Great Might, over here into the perk Divine Might for 10% damage increase. And then I pick up the perk Extended Magazine into the perk here First Shot, and then the final 2 perks are Retaliation for 25% more damage on a perk time dodge, and the final perk is Perpetual Fire for a fire rate increase of 10%. That's really all you need to build for like any variant of the Melter Rifle. Now, as far as variants for the Melter Rifle are concerned, though, I do take the range version over the magazine capacity version on the operations mode, and mainly because your ammo economy is pretty strong on this, like I mentioned before, and you really do not need to like take the extra magazine capacity and stuff like that here, because this one actually has a way better damage fall off than this one does, and because of that, you're gonna have an easier time against things like Shield Zangors, or excuse me, the floating Zangors, like Zangor Enlightened, and also stuff like Zoanthropes, which can get pulverized by this actually fairly easily. And that's pretty much all there is for the primary weapon here. Now, for our secondary weapon, I do take the Retribution's Bequest Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol. The main reason we take this is because the Vanguard can set up gunstrike opportunities to trigger perk effects like Tactical Prowess by basically using the power racks to parry an enemy, gunstrike them off the power wave, and immediately put them into that breakpoint range so we can grapple onto them and trigger this perk effect we'll get into later on top of Zone of Impact. So that's why I do prefer this one, because currently this has the highest gunstrike damage on Vanguard. And for the perk tree here, we do pick up the perk Divine Might first, all the way down the bottom tree into things like Death Strike, which says after killing a Majoris or higher in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This will trigger off of a melee finisher, not just a melee kill, so keep that in mind. All you have to do to make sure this actually happens is make sure your weapon is equipped. And the only downside here, or negative synergy, is that to trigger this perk effect, you can't swap off your gun, and you have to have the gun equipped, which means you are not going to be able to get the perk trigger of Decisive Reload here simultaneously, so you have to choose there. So like that does kind of suck, but still, this buff is very strong. Next perk here is Great Might, over here into the perk Strong Start, and the final perk here before we get into the top row is Able Damage. After using class ability, damage increases by 20% for 10 seconds. This perk is really good on the Assault and Vanguard especially, because your class ability works so much and so often that you will trigger this over and over. Like, these classes have very strong cooldowns on their class abilities, and because of that, this 20% buff is very easy to repeatedly trigger. Excuse me. We'll fix that at all. We'll fix everything we've ever broken. You have no idea how high I can fly. Wolfguard Headtaker Helmet's ASOS, you ain't wrong, brother. It's pretty peak. Ever say like, all right. There we go. This perk effect is very strong in both the Vanguard and Assault class because you actually use your class ability all the time on these guys. They have great CDR perks like Combat Readiness, Inner Fire, and stuff like that, and that allows you to just get way more triggers off of this perk effect than, say, a Tactical does, so I definitely pick it up here. Next perk here is Home Precision for a 50% reduction in weapon spread while hip firing, and then we go up here into Gunstrike Reload, and the final perk here, Tactical Precision, which says headshots deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%, because headshot damage is still the best overall option on this weapon. And also, the heroic perk effect here is called No Help Is Coming for those of you who are unaware. This one says shooting an enemy with the Scream stats effect stops for point reinforcements, and headshots will kill in one shot. So this actually saves you a lot of ammo on Absolute and above, because really in this game, whenever you stop a reinforcement calling enemy on Absolute or like lethal difficulty and hard strats, they will go enraged, and this will kind of like circumvent that and save you not only an entire horde, but also just save you a full heal from an enraged enemy. So a really good perk effect. Now for the melee weapon, you actually have a couple options here. So number one, the balanced power axe. This one is very strong, and the reason I like this on the Vanguard in general is because the power axe, the power backstep of this weapon, it will move you out of range to actually grapnel back into an enemy with your grapnel launcher. The grapnel launcher targeting has a 10-meter range requirement, which feels awful in this game. This one does kind of help mitigate that a bit, and even though you can still do that with a block axe, the balanced weapon allows you to get your gun strike as well, which can trigger that breakpoint for a 33% tactical prowess finisher we'll get into later. So just keep that in mind. Both the block, balance, fencing, they can all do that. It's just like up to you which one you prefer. And as far as the balance and block version are concerned, I would set them up this way, with perpetual strength first, maybe here into the perk coup de grace. The last strike of a light combo deals 25% more damage. Then I pick up the perk here, Perpetual Strength, and Perpetual Strength again. Moving here into the perk Counterattack. The first light attack within 5 seconds after a perfect parry or perfect block deals 25% more damage. Then we go down here into the perk Riposte. Overhead strike damage after performing a power backstep is doubled. So a neat effect of the power axe is that you can use your power backstep and like move your camera to overhead strike with the double riposte damage on a different enemy instead. So you actually have a lot of opportunities to use this. So really strong perk effect, and a double damage on your overhead is very strong. And the next perk here is Hard Target. Moving here to the perk Tactical Retreat. Power Backstep deals 25% more damage. This helps you hit breakpoints, like actually get that 33% HP on an enemy for your tactical prowess trigger, so really good here. Then we go up here into the perk Power Wave. Power Backstep Wave damages more enemies. This one is just a straight buff to your Power Wave. It's going to hit more enemies, and also in patch 13, they did fix the Power Wave to hit more enemies like it was supposed to do anyway, so this perk is even better. Next perk here is Cleaver for a 10% buff against Majoris and higher enemies, and that's pretty much all there is for the Power Axe. Now, alternatively, you could pick up the Chain Sword and build it like this on like the new White Scars variant, or the block version, like really any one you want, and the Argent Edge is still a very potent effect on this class as well. It's just that the Block Axe and Balance Axe, these ones do the most damage, and that Power Backstep movement, that does help you the most as a Vanguard like class synergy. Now, for the fencing option on the Power Axe, you can set up a little bit differently. The only major change I would make here is going down the top tree like this to pick up things like Power Strike, because this is just a very potent effect on this class in general. You also pick up like things like Endless Slash, but this one says Gun Strike from Power Stance deals 20% more damage. This just gives you more gun strike damage, and the actual damage of your power axe here on the fencing version is not that strong, so having this breakpoint here can definitely help you out sometimes on like harder to hit enemies and trigger this 33% threshold. So I just want to make sure people are aware of that, and that's pretty much all there is for the power axe tree. Was that coherent, chat? I think it was. I think it was quite coherent. I think it was exceptionally coherent. This brings us to the perk tree of this guy. I need water, guys. Holy shit. We're cooked. Hey. I think. Well, actually, just. You will die. You're just die. Okay, now we finally get to talk about the Vanguard perk tree. We finally get to talk about the Vanguard perk tree, chat. Are we hyped? I think we are. Okay, let's do this. Now for our perk tree selection on this build, actually, hold on. Now for our God, fucking brain rot immediately. That's okay. Okay, we're getting it all out of the way first. Now for our perk tree selection on the Vanguard class here, we do take the perk Upper Hand first. After a perfect time parry, block, or dodge, you do not lose control of heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. No knockback in Space Marine 2 will just save your life. The Vanguard is no different, and having this will work for gun strikes, it'll work for things like light attacks on any enemy, and if you're unaware of how no knockback works in Space Marine 2, any attack that would knock you over will only stagger you, and any attack that would stagger you will do nothing instead. So, a really powerful effect to prevent stun locks, and also the perks in this column kind of suck. Like Melee Mastery, this perk effect is not remotely as strong as it should be. It's not a multiplicative buff like it's supposed to be. This one is really closer to like a 10% buff on your standard issue weapon, and the perk up here, Moving Target, killing an enemy from a distance of more than 30 meters restores ability charge by 10%. A 30-meter distance requirement sucks, so just pick this perk up instead. Next perk here is Conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you will take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. A 25% health damage reduction is incredible in Space Marine 2, and this will make you very tanky on this class because you can stack this with perk effects over here like Thrill of the Fight for another 20% health damage reduction for a 45% total, which is really strong. Like, that's a pretty substantial amount of damage reduction, and this class already has a ton of armor regen down here with stuff like Launch Restoration and Restoration, so looping back into this perk on Armor Break is really easy to do, and you also have a 15% starting HP increase here too, so a 45% HP damage reduction on top of that is a very potent effect. Now, the next perk we talk about here is Consecutive Execution. Killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores equipment charge by 1. The cooldown is 90 seconds. You know, equipment charge, excuse me. Now, the next perk we take here is Consecutive Execution. Killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores equipment charge by 1. The cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, equipment recharge in Space Marine 2 is just a god tier effect. 90-second Melt-A-Bombs, 90-second Crack Grenades, it does not matter. These things can save your games in any game mode, so you pretty much always pick this perk effect up. And the next perk here is Unmasked Zeal. Lehman, come back. Lehmaning my rust, dude. We try. First take Guardsman. Yeah, I need to eat something after this. Desperately. Yeah. I wish you'd recolor the caves. Maybe one day. Right, if I can get through this, I'm eating after this. That's what I'm doing. Get hydrated, King, and no, I'm like starving right now, so we'll get through the perk trees here, I swear to God. My stomach is grumbling as we're speaking, so we'll do that after. Melee finishers of Extremis or Terminus level enemies additionally restore health by 30% for any team member. You know, this is just the best overall perk for like 99% of players, in my opinion. You know, healing is just a really powerful effect for newer players and experienced players. And Inner Fire is also a very strong perk effect for CDR, but like when it comes to the majority of the player base, I think you should just take this perk. I think you'll feel way better using this one, and for the most part, it'll make your games go way smoother on like hard strats, siege mode, and operations. Next perk here is Restless Fortitude. After a diving kick, you take 40% less range damage for 10 seconds. This is a very strong perk. You know, a 40% range damage reduction here is really nice to have, but I will say the entire column here is pretty decent. Like Shockwave can clear out Spore Mines, and the Bramble collateral damage will help you just deal more direct damage to enemies, and also the Grapnel Launcher diving kick. This will scale up with difficulty, so this one also benefits from that, though I do kind of prefer Restless Fortitude just because it's a catch-all for like both Chaos and Tyranids. And also, this perk will trigger off of grapnel finishers, so it's even better with the perk combo we'll get into in a second. Next perk here is Zone of Impact. Performing a finisher with the grapnel launcher deals damage to nearby enemies. Now, this perk, the description does not properly like express how much damage you actually do. This one will chunk Majora's HP in like an AoE zone. It is a super powerful option on the Vanguard. By far like the fundamental perk combo for this class, because you take Zone of Impact, you take the perk here, Tactical Prowess, that says Grapnel Launcher can activate a finisher not only on incapacitated enemies, but also on those who have less than 33% health, except Terminus level, and performing a finisher with the Grapnel Launcher restores its charge. So, really good perk combo with this, because you kind of see like the whole flow chart here, where you get a guy low, you grapple to them, you trigger the AoE, you get all the guys around him low, you grapple to those guys, and then you trigger this perk, and you get another AoE over and over and over again. In fact, this is not only like the best horde clear on this class outside of Melt-A-Bomb spam, it is also like the best boss damage at times for certain scenarios, so definitely pick this up. If you're going for like a top tier Vanguard build, this is just the only like right option in my opinion. There are also like good perks down here like Tenacity, and also Tip of the Spear is okay, but Zone of Impact is just kind of in a league of its own. Next perk here is Thrill of the Fight. After a per time parry, block, or dodge, you will take 20% less health damage for 5 seconds. This is a free damage reduction in my opinion. This will trigger on every single defensive mechanic in the game, parry, block, and dodge, and because of that, a 20% health damage reduction is going off all the time. And also, unlike a lot of the other perk effects in Space Marine 2, this one will trigger over and over, even if the duration is not up yet. What I mean by that is, if you have 3 seconds of the 5 seconds left, and you get another perfect parry or block, you will trigger this again for the full 5 seconds. So, really easy to keep up the entire time. Next perk here you can take though is Combat Readiness. Grapnel Launcher recharges 20% faster, because if you are taking the healing perk here, this one can help you get back those grapnels a bit faster if you like miss Tactical Prowess for whatever reason. And that's pretty much all there is for the main perk tree here. Now for our Prestige perk list, I do take Battlefield Awareness first. If a target is within 8 meters, you'll deal 10% more range damage. Moving here to the perk Fortitude for health increase of 15%. And then we pick up the perk here, Launch Restoration. Using the Grapnel Launcher restores an armor segment. This perk is like super underrated sometimes. This does so much work for you, because any amount of armor remaining in Space Marine 2 will reduce all incoming melee damage to 0, even from bosses, and because of that, getting 1 armor back while grappling into like a Carnifex, that means that they just can't do any damage to you directed to your HP on their next attack in melee, which is a pretty powerful option. And also, armor will benefit from range damage reduction perks, which means you're going in, you're triggering the armor restoration here, and you're also triggering the perk here for a 40% range damage reduction, which is incredible. So like, you're tankier against Rubric Marines, you're tankier against Devourers and stuff like that, and melee enemies can't do any damage to you for their first attack no matter what. So definitely pick this up all the time. Next perk here is Restoration. Killing 7 enemies rapid session restores an armor segment. The cooldown is 15 seconds. This one is just free armor regen on a cooldown. I mean, it's not as good as Launch Restoration in my opinion, so if you want to swap this out for like Indomitable Spirit or Well Equipped, you could, but more armor is always better in my opinion, so I picked this one up as well. And that's pretty much all there is for the Vanguard build here. You know, the Vanguard is in a pretty okay spot. Like, the only thing he's really struggling with is like boss damage, but as far as general gameplay goes, this class is in a perfectly fine spot. I know we talk about him being like the weakest class in Space Marine 2 currently, but that's to say he's like the 7th best class. He's still very potent in hard strats and very potent in operations. He can still fit right into siege mode builds, so hopefully this build guide helped you. If you like content like this, subscribe for more, and as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye. Hey, we did it, chat. How do some classes get capes or deals? We made it. Yeah, we made it. We're almost halfway through. then we can finally play the game. Alright, I'm gonna grab food. 1 second. I'm grabbing. You have in fact made it, chat. Oh my god. Look at that. Where are we up to? Oh, Bulwark, this is easy. The Power Fist. It's still the best. It's the best for everything. It's the best in siege mode. It's the best in operations, dude. This guy's just fucking him. First tour eater, man. I know. How could I, dude? How dare I eat? Moment. Anyone know the best XP farm method this patch? I do. It's the same as it was last patch, but this is the best leveling in the game. The only thing that's out of date in this guy is in the pinned comment. But that's the best leveling guide you're gonna find. So that. Hopefully that helps you. Probably should. Okay. Now. What are next? Alright, let's go do the Bulwark one next. The Bulwark time! Put this fucking plate away. Why some glasses? Or some... Having glasses. Holy. Okay. It's bulwarking time. It is Bulwark class time. This is exactly the same as it was like every other patch, in my opinion. Is this the single best build in the entire game? Maybe not, chat, but I think this is the best build for 99% of players. Okay, I almost gave us a round shield for the Bulwark. That would be nice for like a Space Wolves outfit, but for now, we suffer. For now, we suffer. You can make like a proper Sergeant Matoris now, though. That is cool. I will survive this, guys. We'll get through it. Right. Hey guys, first regards here, and so I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build in Space Marine 2 patch 13 for... Hey guys, first regards here, and so I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 patch 13 for heart... My god. We already forgot we were doing it. Hey guys, first regards here, and so I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 patch 13 for hard strats and operations. Now, the Bulwark class has had no major changes to him in this patch, so that being said, he is still one of the best classes in the entire game, and Bulwark is still that guy, and his strongest build is as powerful as ever, starting off with the Power Fist. Now, the Power Fist is still the best melee weapon in Space Marine 2 in patch 13. The Block Fist, especially on the Bulwark class, is super beneficial for him because he really benefits from a 0 frame startup parry, and what I mean by that is this weapon, the moment you press the parry button, you will immediately pull off your parry and be able to parry an enemy, and because of that, you can instantaneously trigger perk effects here like Intimidating Aura that says a perfect time parry deals AoE damage. Oh my god. Give me a second, guys. My brain. It's actually fried. Hey, tea. Alright, sorry about that. It was wonderful. We had a mental breakdown at our failure to record a video. But now we're back. Record a video. We'll get this. Okay. Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about the best build for the Bulwark class in Space Marine 2 Patch 13 for hard strats and operations. Now, the Bulwark is still that guy in Patch 13, so still like one of the top 2 classes in the entire game, if not top 1, and he can dominate both the Chaos faction and Tyranid faction with this build very easily. So, number 1, we have the Power Fist. The Block Power Fist or Balanced Power Fist are still the 2 best melee weapons in the game currently, in my opinion. The Block Power Fist especially benefits with the Bulwark class because the Bulwark really likes having a 0 frame startup parry. What I mean by that is the balanced variant of the Power Fist here. Fuck. Fucked up saying Bulwark, yeah. Guys, they've been going for a long ass time. Give me a break. Give me a break, guys. Give me but a crumb. I didn't want you to make it a whole cut and say, oh, I fucked it up at the front. Dude, we have fucked up way more than that at the front of a video, okay? FTG lives on the one take, okay? The 150,000 takes. You have to understand it. That's just the nature of things on this channel. It's honestly a running joke at this point. That's just how it be. You been streaming for 1 day and 5 hours straight? Yeah, bro. What do you mean? Of course. Of course we are, bro. Okay, we'll get through this. Pretty good. Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 Patch 13 Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 Patch 13 to dominate hard strats and operations. Now, the Bulwark really did not receive a ton of changes this patch at all. He is practically the same. Actually, he's literally the same. They didn't change anything on this guy. Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about the Bulwark class in Space Marine 2 Patch 13 and his best build to dominate hard strats and operations. Now, the Bulwark did not receive like really any changes at all this patch, so he is still a top 1, if not top 2 class in the entire game, because at the moment, he just does everything. He can heal all of your teammates, he can have a stupid amount of damage reduction, he can deal with bosses, and just like have a really time recovering on it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 Patch 13 to dominate hard strats and operations. Now, in Patch 13, the Bulwark did not receive any changes pretty much, so he is exactly the same as he was before, which is to say he is a top 2, if not top 1 class in the entire game. Now, this guy can pretty much do everything, and this build can dominate the hard strats for Tyranids and Chaos, because you can heal your teammates with like things like a... Oh my god. Fuck. We'll do it live. I will do it live. Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 Patch 13 to dominate hard strats and operations for both Tyranids and Chaos. Now, in this patch, the Bulwark did not receive like any changes at all. He is still a top 2, if not a top 1 class, because he can pretty much do everything. He has a ton of damage and stuff like the Power Fist, He can heal himself and his teammates. He can grant armor regen to his teammates. He can have a ton of survivability perks with stuff like Steel Within. His survivability is kind of just absurd in this game for how much damage he does, and because of that, the Bulwark remains a king. Now, for the melee weapon selection, I still think the Block Fist and the Balanced Power Fist here are... gone. Frustrating. Hey guys, first regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 Patch 13 to dominate hard strats and operations because... Hey guys, first regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about the best Bulwark build for Space Marine 2 Patch 13 to dominate hard strats and operations for both the Chaos and Tyranid faction. Now, the Bulwark in this patch did not receive any major changes, so he is still a top 2, if not top 1 class, because he kind of just does everything. You have a ton of damage with stuff like the Power Fist, you can heal yourself and your teammates, and also grant armor reduction. Oh my god. Oh my god. We'll get there, chat. We'll get there when we get there. And we could play the fucking game. What the fuck is bro looping for? Brain rot, dude. Up for time. Guys, first gonna play the fucking game. We're gonna go do... We're just gonna rock a decap on this, I don't even give a fuck. We're playing the fucking game. Whatever it is, not right in the teleprompter. For real. How's the new siege stuff? Pretty fun. Nurgle guy says hello. Are you interested in joining Nurgle? No, I don't think so, bro.
Your mission is to use the stored Promethium in the refinery to destroy the enemy swarm. The Cadians were tasked with providing assistance, but we have since lost contact.
I feel like people are not... I don't know, guys. Are you going to be playing the new Siege mode? I feel like a lot of players were just not that interested in Siege mode this patch.
Trigger detonation only when the main swarm has entered the blast zone. Captain Akaram will coordinate our efforts over Vox. Deployed and ready. The enemy may be burrowed in this mud.
This gun's honestly peak. I will say the plasma pistol is definitely better if you're trying to take this to chaos, but it will perform well regardless. Especially with teams. Oh, smash with the lovely Tyranids here, huh? I'll say the new operation, that shit takes forever, guys. That is a long one. So if you had the parry on him, that'd be optimal. Right, well, do it please. I mean, I'll take that. I would have preferred the exposed weakness bonus, that 50% parry, but oh my god. I actually can't move. Oh my god, I can't move. I'm actually trapped. Okay. This is where the Pyro Blaster shines. I guess we'll do it manually. Oh, they gun strike him there, but did they nerf the Fire Blaster? Or no, they only lower. Well, they did technically for burn damage on bosses only, but as you can see, not that much of a nerf. And we didn't even get our parry bonus on them, he just wouldn't attack us, but so if he attacks you there and you can apply an Auspex bonus or a parry bonus for a 50% damage taken debuff, that will apply to your burn, like direct damage as well, on top of your Auspex, which means we're just nuked them there, but unfortunately, we had to do it the old-fashioned way. Aspects. So the boss damage wasn't nerfed on burn, but it's still a top tier effect in the game, so not too big of an issue. For being honest here. Not too bad at all. How's the new Heroic Axe fare against the old block one? I think they're pretty interchangeable for different reasons. I just don't think like the whole hold down attack to like move around with your power wave is that useful. I kind of understand what they're trying to go for, but usually when you use a power axe, you just automatically power backstep. You know, just looks like a wait around for it. That was a little dumb, in my opinion.
Group on me. First waypoint ahead. Let us enter the camp. Reporting in. Team has arrived at the Imperial Guard encampment. Talassa, you need to acquire the Astra Militarum demolition codes required to deploy and arm their ordnance. Source one from any soldier you see, alive or otherwise. I have the codes, brothers. Captain, the demolition codes are secured. Proceed to the Prometheum refinery and complete the demolition preparations.
Oh, we got it first try. I'll also check for the relic here if I want to. Let's do that. The relic. They just jumped to the most awkward position out of that. How unfortunate. God, Aspect really just peak.
No turning back now. Lead the path. This is where we sow the enemy's defeat, brothers. More specs, opticals, calibrate.
Which of the new heroics is more useful, sword or axe? Well, there is no new sword. Unless you mean the Xenophase. Xenophase is pretty good. Fire Blast really is that good. I'm like, look at this. We're not even using our equipment, which you'd definitely be doing. Does the demo do this game justice? Isn't this game on like a free trial this weekend? I haven't seen what it does for like the free trial. I have no idea, but
Talassa, the Cadians are running out of time.
it'd be pretty good.
How close are you to the Prometheum facility.
Arriving at the objective now.
You are making good time. We are going to need it.
Let us finish what the Cadians started.
Captain Chaos Favor the Prime. Good evening. What's up, brother?
To the Prometheum well.
How we doing?
Cautiously, if you know what is good for you. Deployment has begun. Rates of activation have been observed. The generators handling the machine code name. Crane sequencing initialized.
Best chapter for Bulwark? Probably Black Templar, right? I gotta be.
All specs ready to scan.
We must intercept the generator too. Potential heretical sabotage of generator 2. Secure immediately.
It's so free.
Never turn down fresh ammunition.
Attention. Crane drive is jammed.
So, you know, we have one more potential boss spawn here, but that should be too bad for us.
Operation. Back on track. X axis aligned. I'm on this side as well. Hope of the first leg of this race is behind us. Overcrowding alert at generator 1. Unauthorized personnel. Observe your duties.
Get back here, get back here.
Let us keep that swarm from ever reaching generator 4.
God, actually gave me like all 4 generators this time, huh? Awesome. I mean, thank God the Pyroblaster is like cracked on this part. It's kind of cracked in general, to be honest.
Generator 4's cowling. Climbing is not permitted while in operation. Y-axis aligned. Margin of error 0.0 nanometers. Blessed be the all-desired's divine precision. Progress is progress, brothers. We are almost there.
Feels like fresh munitions.
It's been a long generator portion. An excessively long generator portion.
Demolition deployment sequence complete. Elevators locked under the Omniscience watchful Oculus. We are ready to ambush the enemy, Captain. There is an observation platform overlooking the Cryptomedium fields. It will make a good vantage.
Okay, we're just gonna purge these guys if we can. Alright, we got one of them. He's feeling that. See? It may not seem like it initially, but he does feel it. Okay. Let's not do the fourth one. Sometimes they only go for 3, but whatever. Finally, it's over. Pyroblaster is strong. Pyroblaster is indeed strong. I'm gonna say the strongest. People like me. I would still say this is the overall strongest weapon on this class. I mean, other things are good. Like plasma is really strong too. It's just that this shit's peak.
This is our killing ground. Auspex Prime.
I would just say against Chaos, I would just swap to plasma. That's all about it.
Arming up.
Alright, there's a final boss spawn. We have 2 more boss spawns we could get. There's one up here on the elevator, and the final one very, very end.
We have arrived at Nozick's facility. Run distraction efforts as long as you can.
Why swap for plasma against Chaos? I mean, the plasma pistol is better against Chaos. For stagger. Because a minigun fire, like a minigun Terminator, they'll just stun lock you. Or like you don't have like an opportunity to really stagger them without a plasma gun, like an Inferno pistol. And it's like the only option we have for that. Alright, that's definitely the one. I even turned my camera to kill Lictor, and it still put me over here. Surely we jest. Eat it. Hello.
Specs cannot even compute their numbers.
No turning back now. Auspex.
Main swarm sighted. We await your signal, Captain. Dig in. We need that bomb triggered for optimal yield.
Alright, might get a boss spawn here, we'll see.
The swarm will not be in position for a
We
while
have one
yet.
so far.
Keep your heads and get it done. I see them coming, brothers. Plenty for everyone.
Uh-oh, not doing that. I don't know why. I did too much damage.
Behind us, brothers!
Fill your packs, brothers.
Halfway there, brothers. Keep it up.
This is our killing ground, brothers.
Oh, there it is. So, even though they nerfed the Pyroblaster damage here, Neurothrops actually have less HP this patch, so... Oh, that's just the best. That's why Radiant Impact the gods here for that was a very awkward thing. You got put into like a Ravener on top of a Neurothrop AoE on top of Lictor dive bombing us. Okay. I have to dodge this from a scrub. Okay. It wasn't a perfect dodge, we're only halfway there. So we're just gonna cook him alive. And then once we get our max burn on him, then we're gonna put down the Auspex, and then we're just gonna direct damage him. Have him sit in that and eat shit and die.
The swarm has almost fully committed. Be ready for my mark.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, the Pyroblaster, it still cooks bosses. Like, 20% reduction in burn damage, who cares? FTG, FTG, FTG to do patch out? Yes. Yes, it is.
You are clear to detonate. Cook those rotten bastards. Yes, Captain. You heard him. We have laid waste to the enemy. Biocides down 90% and falling. Swarm annihilation confirmed. Excellent work. Move to extract. Extraction complete. Returning to orbit.
And that is the Pyre Blaster Tactical build, one of the strongest builds in the entire game currently. Pretty insane. Immortal theme to tier 1 for 2 months. Okay, we did that one. Easy peasy. That was a pretty good showcase for that. Pretty decent, I'd say. Is grinding missions solo worth it? I mean, it depends if you find it fun, right? That's all that really matters at the end of the day. All right, guys, we are going to... Hold on, let me ask a question. All right. 1 second, guys. Well, Alright guys, we might return. Hello Space Wolf, what's up, bro? We might return to play back Guardsman for a little bit, and then I will be back. Just took from a chain Korea, what? What does that even mean, bro? Here we go, guys. We shall turn.
The clashes between the heretics and the Xenos have reduced the landing zone to rubble. This is
Maybe, dude, maybe we're a little cooked. Maybe we have like a little bit of an excessive amount of drip on us right now, okay?